I put my shoes on, but I don't want to go out. This is something that a man said to me the other day in a conversation, and he said he knows he should go out. He knows that it would eventually make him feel better, and it could be even a sunny day, but there's a battle that goes on in his mind that tries to kind of talk him out of it, and then thinks about like his how he's feeling, and that nobody's going to enjoy his company, and what's the point in going out, because when I get there my crazy head is going to be there when I get there, and I'm going to end up like having a bad day. And he's got all this stuff going on in his mind, right? Now stay with me for this video if you feel like something like this is going on inside you, because you might get something from it. There might be something in this that could help you. I'm going to try and explain it as best I can, because we were able to break him out of that way of thinking, and I'm going to try and do this in a video as best I can to get you to consider something that, if you consider it, it might make your life easier. And it's a little bit about knowing what's going on inside his mind at that time. So I'm going to use him as an example. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but I'm going to tell you his story and the problem and then the solution. Okay. And it's going to be very simple. And you might think, oh, that sounds too simple to be true. But usually when you're thinking this simple way, it's more peaceful. And when you're feeling more peaceful, you can get more stuff done and you can make clear decisions. So it's up to you if you want to find out how to kind of think of this as a concept and not as like a magic wand or a solution. Stay with me, because if you do, it's going to get you to consider a different way of thinking about things that you might not have thought of before. So he tried other stuff. Obviously he's feeling like he meant it literally, like I put my shoes on and I just don't want to go out. I end up not going out. So I have to help him to try and understand logically what he's doing. It's automatic for him, because most people will say they don't know that I just feel like this and I don't understand. I know it's stupid. I know I shouldn't feel like this. So I'm not going to go into the details of what we did, but there's usually something going on inside your mind in that moment that's causing your body to feel this way now. So let's talk about what he was doing. He was planning things to go wrong. He was losing track of time, and he would hallucinate that he was out in the future and people are not enjoying his company and he's just a burden on everybody. And what's the point? So the nervous system is listening to the mind. It's eavesdropping on the mind, and the nervous system is being stirred up. So he's got a bad story with a bad ending, and that creates a bad feeling. Some people have no story and they're just sitting there in limbo going, I don't see any good reason to go out. Now, that can be counterproductive too. And I'm telling you this for a reason, because some people are caught up in one of these three things. And if you understand what they are, then you can use them on purpose as a tool to change how you feel, but in a positive way instead, you know. So some people have no story, no meaning, no feeling. So if I went over to your house and said to you, so do you want to come to this thing? You'd be like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. It's just something. You're like, I don't see why I should go. Just something. It's just like a thing or something. You wouldn't be motivated, because you need kind of a little bit of detail of what it's going to be. But if I gave you a positive description of what it was, and it was something that you desired, and it was a positive outcome that you'd like to do, then all of a sudden you'd see a smile on your face and a twinkle in your eye. And when you've got that smile on your face and a twinkle in your eye, you're more likely to go and take action on things, and you're going to be better company if you're feeling like that, you know? So that's a positive ending on the story. When you lose track of time, if someone has a bad ending on the story in their head, they'll look like this. And you can really tell that they've got a story with a bad ending. If someone has a good ending on the story, it kind of looks like this. And you can see it from across the room that they've got a good ending on whatever story they're telling themselves. So the two of them are going to create a feeling in your body, and one of them's not going to be productive and the other one is. Now, what happens a lot of people is they either have no story, a good story, or a bad story. And stories influence people. You're influenced by stories. That's why I'm telling you a story about this guy, because you're going to be influenced by somebody else's story. You can be influenced by my story, or you can be influenced by your own story. You're always being influenced by stories. And those stories either have a good ending or a bad ending, or you're left in limbo on a cliffhanger, like in EastEnders on Christmas week. You're just left on this cliffhanger and there's no ending to the story, and you feel anxious because you need to know how it's going to end. So stories are going to influence you, and I just want you to consider about the stories that you're telling yourself in your head before when you put your shoes on. Let's use that as a metaphor. You put your shoes on and you're going to go out. This could be in any situation or just a metaphor for life. And you feel like a resistance coming up, a dread that's stopping you from going. So in that moment, you have a story and it's not motivating, or otherwise you would just go and you probably wouldn't be still watching this video. And a lot of the information out there can be counterproductive. I'm not saying all of it, and it's a lot of it's helpful because I used a lot of it to help me, and still, even I'm watching some stuff some days and I'm going, geez, that's actually pretty good. I must remember that. If someone's giving you advice and they're telling you to take the smallest next step, like if you ask anybody that's in the business of helping people, like therapists and stuff, that say, look, what you should do is, take one step at a time. And eventually those steps will turn into, positive outcomes. And then a couple of days and a couple of weeks, you'll be back to yourself. For me, that's not motivating at all. It's like, okay, so it's going to get better, but not now. And the state that you're in now, the mood that you're in now doesn't get changed, So you struggle on and you push through under duress because you're hoping someday it's going to get better. And hope is anticipation of something good happening. And that means you're putting something good out into the future and you're saying, it's going to get better, but not now. And to work off that energy, you can see it in people's eyes that person is looking forward to something good happening, but nothing's happening in their life now. And they've put it outside of them. And that's what got me thinking about it, because I asked him, I said, what did you try? He goes, I've been doing this gratitude stuff and all, and something someone told me kind of helped, but I'm still unhappy. I said, what were you told? He goes, just take one small step at a time, one little small step, and bit by bit, I'll get better. And he says, it's 4 years later now, and I still don't feel like I'm any further, because that happiness was always being put outside. So in that moment when someone's putting their shoes on and they're thinking, I'm going to go, if you don't have a positive story out there with a positive ending, it's not going to stir up feelings now. So I want you to think about it like this. What can I say to myself now that's going to be an assumption? That's going to make me feel better now, so that I motivate myself now and not wait till next week. And I want to kind of help you to start to think this way. And I've put together a lot of stuff that's very helpful for a lot of people, and I'm getting insight from how it's changing how people think about their life. I've got podcasts that are talking all about this way of thinking, and generally it's just like, it's a mindset. They're not techniques. There's little tools in there that are going to get you to kind of think differently, but it's really, for me, it's about how can I just feel better now and then decide if I want to go out or not. And when you feel better, you make better decisions and you take action. But the problem is with this particular guy, he's thinking that things are going to get better someday, and he's hoping that they're going to get better. And hoping is anticipating, and you can anticipate good things or bad things, but he's living in hope. But that means that the happiness is outside and not inside, and happiness comes from you, not to you. So in real time, in the moment now, you're only using the stories, the assumptions about the future to stir up feelings now. If you make a bad assumption about the future, you have to remember you're part to play in this, because it's your voice inside your head that's telling the stories that have a bad ending and have a bad meaning about how people don't like you. And if you don't take ownership of that, it's going to be very difficult for you to be happy. And the problem is at the moment that there's too much information out there now to tell you more ways to think. And it becomes confusing after a while. It becomes overwhelming, and your mind is not designed to handle overwhelm. Your working mind, your frontal lobes are not designed to handle overwhelm. They're only designed to pay attention to what's right in front of you, beyond the tip of your nose, to act, to respond in real time. As soon as you start going out into the future and you start to bring future stuff into your working memory, it's not designed for that. It's going to get overloaded instantly. It's not even going to take much. It's any more than 7 to 9 bits of information, it's gone. You'll just feel yourself going into this kind of daydream state where the day flies in and you can't keep track of anything because you're so far ahead of yourself, you're behind. You're either in the future trying to anticipate what's out there, but the information that's out there is not available to you now, but you act like it is. And that's what's going to stir up the feelings now. So as best you can, just start to get the concept of this and follow my videos. I'm not asking you to follow because I want you to follow me. I'm asking you to follow for yourself, that you'll get value out of these things, and that if it makes your life better, it means that I'm doing something right. And that's why we're all here. We're all here to try and make the world a little bit better than it was when we came into it. And if that's something that you get from this video, then we're all going to be in a much better place. So just take it into consideration. What am I saying to myself, or what am I not saying to myself that's making me feel like I don't want to go out even though I have my shoes on? And as you listen to me over time, there's going to be certain things that I'm going to say that's going to make this video here make even more sense. It'll just click. You go, oh, now I get it. Because this is a way of thinking. It's not just tools and techniques to kind of make yourself feel better and plan and organize and write down stuff. I want to try and avoid all of that stuff, because you really want to just be getting on with your life. Unless you're training to be a therapist, you know, and you want to learn all that stuff, great, that's good as well. But most people just want to have time with their family, to be able to sit out on a sunny day and not be tormented, not go for a walk to try and get away from themselves, and then have a full-blown conversation in their head about all the stuff that they did and didn't do. They just want a bit of peace in their mind. And this is a way of thinking. You know, negativity is a way of thinking and positivity is a way of thinking. But in my opinion, even thinking while you're with other people is not the best thing to do when you're thinking, when you're around other people, or you're just enjoying the nature. Because you're not present when you're thinking. You're just in your head trying to make sense of stuff, and it usually just gets in the way of just being fully present and available in the moment, without judgment, without description, and just in a state of taking it all in without any words. That's the goal, is to get to that place. And I can lead you there because I'm there. I'm here in this place. I'm talking the talk and walking the walk. So I hope that you can start to kind of add what I'm doing into your life, and it makes your life better. I'm doing it myself, but I'm also coaching other people to do it. So I know it works. And if you're feeling anyway overwhelmed and stressed, then just check out my podcasts. And it's Paul Campbell, the podcast. It's on easy to find. paulcampbell.ie is my website. If you go on there, you'll find the links there. If you're on TikTok, you click the link above. There's a link tree there that has a link to my website, my podcast, and the community for men over 40 who want to hang out in that community. And I share some deeper stuff with yous. And listen to the podcast in the background. You're going to get some really good insight from them. And it's stuff that I learned over the years, and I feel very grateful that I have access to this type of information. And it's really made a massive difference. And now I can compare it to what doesn't work, because it is working. And thanks for watching this video. It's 10 minutes, 13 minutes long. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but again, thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you again in the next videos, and check out my podcasts.